of sexual development changed in recent years?
Well, for gay youth, it has changed significantly. It used to be that it was so easy that you'd see a pattern of erotic sexual fantasies for the same sex and then progress on to experiences, usually some sexual experience with the same sex, and then move on to a self-identifying of being gay. And then next may happen years later or sooner, that someone would come out to their community and friends. And that was sort of the general path. It's changing now. In recent literature, we find that people are interchanging the middle steps, the step of experience and self-identification, that a lot of youth are self-identifying at a young age, as young as 13. Usual age for identifying is or coming out is 18 to 20, but there are some children who are self-identifying at 13 and sort of progressing through the steps rather quickly and going on to coming out at that age. I believe that those reasons are because there's much more acceptance in the community, much more in the media. As we discussed in our presentation today, Glee is an excellent television show that's explored these issues for youth. And then on the internet, they can find peers to talk to. There's lots of programs like PFAT Flag, and there are programs where children are getting that support. The problem is, if there's a problem, because it may be that it's both a win-win, but I think one of the issues may be that some children aren't ready for the stigma, being ostracized, the bullying, the issues that may come up for them in their community, their school community, their religious community, their family. That they're not aware of those issues and may not have the support when they come out as early as this.
So what are some of the unique challenges faced by teens who have these gender identity issues?
For most heterosexual youth, their sexual orientation is a given, and that's not a problem for them. For children and adolescents who are coming out as gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered, that is not a given. And so that step, that integrating their individuation, separation, finding their ego identity along with their sexual identity makes it more complicated. A further complication is then also the double minority, being also a ethnic minority. And there are unique difficulties for those different populations because there may be more societal and social pressures in some ethnic groups to stick with the traditional masculine and feminine feminine presentation, and for these youth that they are not going to fulfill what their society, community expectations are for them, and that can be a lot of stress. And the major stressors are major depressive disorder, suicide, and illicit drug use. And without acceptance within their family, those are astronomically increased.
What advice do you have for clinicians who probably are seeing some of these teens in their practices?
So what I'd recommend, if you don't have expertise in this area, that you look at the practice parameters that are coming out from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. They're making their way through the organization. They were presented last year, and I'm already using them in my practice, and I know they're not stamped yet, but there's wonderful resources there. And the other thing I would do is if you that you stay away from a lot of identifying pronouns, and that you, when you're talking about relationships, which of course teenagers, they're going to want to talk about whether, who they might have attraction to. That's the way they look at it, more as attraction. Know that it's fluid, and to use neutral terms. And the one that I've always used is, I wonder what kind of partner or how you might see yourself in the future with a partner. That's been the best term for me because it's such a neutral term to talk about a partner. Now, if you're in a major metropolitan area, you will find people, and the ACAP can help you with that, but you can find people that specialize in this area. Of course, there are clearly some children that are going to need specialized care, but I think also that acceptance among your family, working out the family issues, that this is just another family issue. You could look at it that way rather than looking at it as, oh, that's something I don't know anything about. You know how to work with families. You know how to help families accept their children and their changes. And I think that a lot of us can do that more than we think we can.
For Global Medical News Network, I'm Heidi Splee.